Carol and Cheryl, Cheryl and Carol, Carol and Cheryl.
Hey Carol, how you doing?
Hey Cheryl, I'm doing well. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well too. Are we laughing because we're both lying?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really am doing well. And you?
Well, I'm so excited about this episode. I think we're going to have so much fun.
Well, I guess what we're going to talk about, right, is that old stuff that triggers our memory from when we were a kid, or makes you say, "Oh my God, I remember that." And what started it off for me was I happened to see a tweet. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember seeing it in the back of cards? It was called the Drinking Lucky Bird.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Can you describe it?
It looks like a little beaker, a thin beaker about 3.5 inches, and it's sat in like a little orange stand. And of course, if you're looking at it from the your windshield to the back of another car in front of you, it looked like it had orange legs and a little yellow top hat, and it had like orange fluid in the bottom of the beaker, and it would tilt like it was drinking and rock back up and then tilt back down and rock back up. You don't recall that?
I don't recall that, but where did you see that recently?
Okay, so on Twitter, I follow a Groovy History. And when that came in, oh my gosh, it just I was like, oh my God, I remember that.
So are we going to do you remember this episode today?
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, do that today. And why don't you go first? What do you remember that's going to throw us back?
Okay, well, this, I think, was my prized possession growing up as a kid. And I remember the day that I got it. It was a Wednesday in 1974. I was 12 years old. And I got my first purple bike with the banana seat.
Oh.
It was purple with a white seat and had like the kind of the motorcycle handlebars.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they're real long.
Yeah, I love that bike. And then later, I would add the baseball cards with the clothespins to make it go tick, 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 tick. And then the orange flag, the fluorescent orange flag.
I think that's the very first time I knew what plexiglass was.
I think that was happiest days of my life when I was riding around on my banana seat bike. And I would love to have one now. I have nowhere to put it, but wouldn't that be so much fun?
Yeah. That's funny because I was going to bring up my bike story that really meant a lot to me. And I got a bike for my birthday. I was the only girl in the neighborhood that had it. I was the only person in the neighborhood that had it. And it was a Huffy.
Yes.
And I don't know if you recall Huffies, but they kind of resembled like motorcycles, they had a big black seat. Oh my God. I thought I was it. And so I got it before my brother because my birthday came first. And I just thought I was so cool with that Huffy.
Yep.
I loved it. Loved it.
The
handlebars had like the little tabs on it. You know what I mean? I don't know what you call those, but you could run your finger over them and they go tick, 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 tick.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved it. The grips, they were awesome.
Well, we were such badasses on our bikes. And it was our freedom, wasn't it?
Yes.
I don't know about you, but we would go out on our bikes early in the morning and come back late at night. And nobody knew where we were or what we were doing or where we were going.
Right.
And it was I just thought I was the shit on that thing.
Okay, so what else do you have?
All right, well, let's stick with the wheels theme. How about a skateboard?
I was afraid I'd bust my butt.
Yeah, we had a big skateboard craze on my street, and I forget the name of the things that hold the wheels on the skateboard. I think they're called trucks.
Oh, right.
So you had to have like certain trucks and certain wheels and then they didn't have the longboards back then.
Mm-hmm.
These were just cheap plastic, but mine was a cheap plastic see-through, but I upgraded my trucks. And I was good. I got really good on it. So we would all start at the top of the hill and sit down and then just zoom down the hill trying to bump each other off. Now you'd be called a bully if you did that.
Right.
It was so much fun.
Where my dad was selling houses, we went to the trailer, my mom and my brother and I. She would do like hostessing for him on the weekends or something, get the names and pass out the brochures. Long story short, I wanted to use the bathroom up the street, up the hill. And I said to my brother, let me take your skateboard up. I had my Sunday dress on, nylons, and like wedge sandals with about an inch and a half heel. One in 8th grade, the summer of 8th grade. He gives me the skateboard. I go up, I use the Don's John. I get on the skateboard. And I'm coming down the hill, cruising, and I'm thinking, wow. And all of a sudden, I see this gravel in front of me that I didn't notice before I went up. I didn't pay any attention. And I was either going to hit the gravel or I had to step off. And so I thought, I'll just step off. And I wiped out. I landed with dress above my head, ripped nylons, bloody elbow. And the salesman for the other model homes was down there at the bottom showing standing out in the street, like pointing up, like, that's going to be the community center. That's going to be the pool. And oh my God. So yeah, I was really turned off from skateboards.
And there you were laying on the ground with your skirt up over your head.
I just had to go back into the trailer and get like a paper towel and napkin, Kleenex, and rub the rocks out.
Yeah, you had road rash. All right. Well, since you wiped out on your skateboard, we should move off of the wheels. Although my brother did have a big wheel. Did your brother have one of those?
I had one.
You had one? No way.
Big wheel?
Yeah.
Yes, I loved them. I had one that was so cool. Oh my God, I forgot all about it. You sat in it and you had 2 big wheels, one on the right side and one on the left side.
In the back or in the front?
No, right next to 2 big ones, one to the right, one to the left. And then you had like these grips again. And then you would just, like you were rowing, and you would move the wheels forward or backwards. And I never saw them that much. I don't know what the deal was. And then I would hold one, and I'd do the one wheel and go in a circle.
You were doing donuts in your driveway?
Yes. Yes, I love that thing. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, my brother had the big wheel. I was too big for that. Okay, so moving inside to more of the girls' toys. Did you have an easy bake oven?
Yes.
Wasn't that the stupidest thing? Like, we begged for that. You plug it in, and the whole house goes brown. All the lights dim. Not a complete blackout, but a brownout. And what was that other one? It had the molds that you plug in, and then you pour the liquid in it, and it would make, like, little caterpillars and stuff. I don't know what the name of that was.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But I can remember the smell of it, that rubber cooking.
I don't recall that one too much.
But you had an easy bake oven?
Yes.
Did you have to fight over it with your sister, or was it all yours?
Actually, I think it was hers, and I would just like watch her cooking it.
Mm-hmm.
She loved it. There was 5 of us, so she had one. It was like it was enough to have one in the family.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was stupid. It looked so cool in the commercial when you're watching Saturday morning cartoons. But then when you actually got it home, it was very underwhelming.
Do you remember the mood ring when it very first came out?
Yes.
I remember going in Spencer's and seeing them. Just the style, it was just real simple.
My problem was my hands were always freezing. So it was always black. My hands were never warm enough to make it change colors.
When I went back in my mind, I went back to mostly like places and TV shows. And one of my memories going back was Krusky's 5 and Dime. Do you remember Krusky's?
No.
Krusky's was just like a Kmart.
Oh, I thought it was a TV show.
Oh, no.
Oh, a store.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
You would go and they had lunch counter in the back, and they would have balloons on a string. After your meal, you'd tell the waitress which balloon you wanted, and they'd pop it, and then it would
Oh,
say free or $1.50 or a quarter, and you'd get the sundae for whatever they popped it. And then, do you remember when CVS was People's?
People's and Dart Drug.
You remember when People's used to have a lunch counter?
I do.
That was so awesome. I wish they never took the lunch counters out. I loved them.
Yeah, I used to buy Reese's peanut butter cups and cigarettes at Dart Drug.
What kind of cigarettes did you smoke?
Merit, because I didn't really want to be a smoker. You know, I was like 13. You know, everyone else smoking Marlboro, but I wanted to smoke something lighter and better for you. Stupid.
Do you remember the little jewelry boxes with the little ballerina and the satin mirror behind it? You'd pull her down and go.
How's that go again? I was a big Partridge Family fan. And when their new albums would come out, also at Dark Drug, I would be the first one in the neighborhood to get them. I was so madly in love with David Cassidy.
Yeah, he was so cute.
And then along the music theme, I also had a 8-track tape player boombox. So I used to walk around the block with my 8-track tape player playing Kansas. Did you have that record?
Yes.
So did you have like a Walkman or an 8-track player?
We had an 8-track player in the car. Isn't that funny to think that we've gone from just in our lifetime, the 8-track, the cassette, the CD, you know?
Yeah. Well, here's the sad thing about that. I've probably bought Stairway to Heaven 5 times. 8-track, the cassette, the album, then on iTunes, then a DVD.
Right.
That's 5 right there. We've all bought the same music 5 times.
What were some of the shows you used to watch?
All right. We used to watch, what was that? Omaha's Wild Kingdom. We used to watch that. And then Carol Burnett. What was on before that? My beloved David Cassidy and the Partridge Family.
I used to love The Manager.
No, you didn't.
I'm just kidding.
So let's see. Another thing that I really loved was the Nerf Football.
Oh, yes.
I love that because I had really small hands and I could really get my hand around it, but you can't really throw those things that far. Then after the Nerf came the K2 football. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember, but I don't remember what it looked like. What was different about it?
It was just small, like for a little kid. But I
Okay.
had a small hand and I could really throw that thing. To this day, I would still prefer a K2.
Okay.
But nobody will throw that with me. So what kind of car did you guys have?
My mom had an old Ford Falcon, and then my mom had a Pinto.
Did your dad get her that on purpose?
Yes, in yellow. That's so
Really?
funny. And then we had the Country Squire. Oh, and then my dad at one point got this all white Thunderbird, white leather seats. And then he got a Ram Dodge van that was like custom. It was all ruby red inside. You had 2 captain chairs in the back with a table and 4 drink holders in it. Little mini fridge, curtains on the windows, and then a couch in the back that you could just pull into like a bed. It was awesome.
Did you guys go on trips?
Yeah, well, we'd go to Pittsburgh and stuff like that, but we'd go up to Charlestown Raceway sometimes, just like anybody, like you do now. Like we'd get into a groove of things, you know.
So in that van, did any of your siblings lose their virginity in it?
I don't know if anyone lost their virginity in it, but I went on a prom date, double dated. I guess it was like a homecoming. And my brother and I were so different. what he wanted to do, he's like that typical American teenage high schooler that wants to like make memories by sitting in the van, drinking beer and having stories to tell. And I was just like, what are we doing? So he bought beer. Somehow or another, he got beer. He parked in the bowling alley parking lot, pulls the bed down. He and his girlfriend are sitting on that. Me and my boyfriend are sitting like in the captain chairs facing them. And he's drinking beer, and I'm in this gown. And I'm just like, this is a nightmare. This is the worst. And then I had to use the bathroom, so I had to go in the bowling alley in my gown. So we did sit in the back. I felt like I was in some 1980s Ferris Bueller or Pretty in Pink movie or something.
I think your brother accomplished it because it sounds like it definitely was a memory for you.
A bad memory. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what a horrible date you are.
I can't believe your dad let you guys take it out.
My parents let us do everything.
That's crazy. We had the Chevy station wagon, the 7-seater or the 8-seater. And my mom and my stepmom smoked. So they smoked in the car. I'm sure we didn't wear seatbelts. And we would fight over who got a window seat. And whoever didn't get the window seat would just pass gas the entire time to torture everybody else. That was the most memorable childhood vehicle. We had other things, but...
The station wagon, did you have the seats that pull up on the over the back wheels?
Yeah. Okay. And you'd face the back window?
You face each other, kind of.
Oh, no, we didn't have that. I know it did. It faced the back window.
Oh, okay. Oh, my God. I can't believe the Country Squire. You know, it was really cool because it was like metal in the back, you know, and no carpet after the back seat. And then you'd pull up these seats and you like sat deep down in. And then when you didn't need the seats, you just put them down. Yeah, I look back at what a death trap that was. But what's the oldest vehicle you remember having in your family?
Probably that Ford Falcon.
Oh, you had a Ford Falcon too?
Yeah. Well, we didn't have it. I think my grandfather had it, and he gave it to my dad. And then we had a really cool car was the Maverick, the Ford Maverick. It was green with a stripe on it. But I think my mom got drunk and sideswiped a bus with it. So that one didn't last too long.
Oh, my God. My brother, we had a Ford. Oh, gosh, I can't remember the name of it. He had a house with it.
What? How do you do that?
I just talked to him about it recently.
That's like your parents' worst nightmare.
Yeah.
All right. So did you have an Etch-A-Sketch?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes, till it started leaking around the knobs.
I love mine. I think because I had such bad OCD, I would try and write letters, like words with it, but you had to trace back perfectly backwards. And if my lines weren't perfectly over each other, I'd have to start over. Yeah. But I wasn't anybody that could draw, but I would try to do like 2 letters or write my name with it.
And didn't you get just under the original line when you back?
Yes, right. It's like you couldn't go right over it.
Right.
It almost wouldn't let you. All right. Did your brother have Hot Wheels?
Yes.
Wasn't it sad that we couldn't have those?
Yeah, well, it was like I had it because, you know, all of us. But yeah, I loved it. I loved it when the electric thing go whipping around. I love that.
Setting up the tracks and the curves and propping it up so there's like hills to go up and down. And then buying a new Hot Wheel.
Yes.
Just even looking at them. There were so many cool Hot Wheels. All right. What about yo-yos? Were you into yo-yos?
No. I liked the ones that lit up for a while. That was cool. I enjoyed them, but it wasn't a thing for me. You?
Yeah. Yeah, I loved them, but I couldn't do all the tricks. You know, you would see on TV, like in the commercial, walk the dog, and I don't know. Right. I couldn't even get it to wind back up without putting a knot in it. I got really good at tying knots because of the yo-yo, like getting it perfectly in that hole and the space. And like, how did you do it without tying the knot? And what was so funny at work, I don't know, 20 years later, there was this dude, he was an executive, and he carried a yo-yo in his pocket. And he would come over to my desk and do these yo-yo tricks. And he was so good at it. I'm like, wow, you are so good at it. And then, I don't know, we were at some kind of business convention. We're all doing the happy hour standing around the bar. I'm like, hey, pull out your yo-yo and show us. And he's like, no, shh, like shame. What yo-yo? What are you talking about? I don't have a yo-yo.
What yo-yo?
He was just showing off for me, but didn't want everybody to know that.
Oh, that is funny.
He had a yo-yo in his pocket. Hey, can I play with your yo-yo?
Show me your yo-yo. No.
All right. What about Tonka trucks?
Yes.
We had some of those, but.
What about the slinky? The yo-yo makes me think of the slinky.
Yeah, I love the slinky. I could make it do the stairs.
Yes, I love that.
And I actually brought one to work one time, and somebody took it. Somebody that really liked toys had to have it on her desk. Okay. I think I won it in one of the white elephants.
Okay.
At the Christmas party. Yeah, I got the slinky. But I liked it. It was fun to do while on conference calls and such, as an adult. But I felt like it was full of germs from people touching it and it falling on the floor. And I don't know, it just felt like it had germs on it. My germaphobe freaked out. It was fun, but then my germaphobe would be like, put that down. That's so gross. You don't know who's touched that. All right. What about Legos?
Nah, that big into them. I tried, but eh.
What about your kids?
No.
As a parent, you're not a parent until you step on a Lego in the middle of the night. But no, my brother had them and they were cool. But I think they got cooler when our kids were coming up. And all those models you could buy and you could just keep building on your Lego collection. You could make little people and boats and cars and houses. I might buy some for myself for Christmas this year. Maybe one of those models. So what about Pong?
I just downloaded one, but it's just like Pong on the Apple TV.
We thought Pong was the coolest thing.
I know. Remember?
I didn't have it, but my neighbor had it, and we would just fight over it. Let me play.
We had it.
You almost had to be stoned. It was moving so slowly, you almost had to be high to really get into it.
We were big Pong players. And we had an air hockey table.
I didn't, again. My neighbor did. I got good at it, though. Really good at it. Oh, my favorite air hockey story. I don't know. I was probably 15 years into my career. And we went to the ESPN zone in Washington, D.C. Bunch of people from the office. And I turned into like an Olympic athlete at this air hockey table. I was like an animal. I just wanted to beat this guy. And he didn't know what the hell was even going on. I just turned into my competitive, crazy person. Come on, bring it. Let's go. I'm going to kick your ass, And they never saw that side of me at work. I was always just so calm and quiet until we got on that air hockey table. And man, I was like a crazy lady. Nobody would play with me.
Yeah, I love air hockey. That was fun.
Air hockey, pool, ping pong.
I love ping pong.
We had a basketball hoop and we would play horse. We had our K2 footballs. I mean, my whole childhood was about competition. And it was fun.
We used to play around the world.
Yeah, around the world, pig, horse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
the bouncy ball with the
Uh-uh.
handle? You'd put your.
Yes.
I can't remember what that was called.
It was like a hippity hop.
Hippity hop.
Was it a hippity hop?
I
I'm
think it was a
Googling it.
hippity hop.
God, how did I know that?
I know.
I scare myself sometimes. How about the unicycle? One kid on our street had a unicycle. I could never figure that out.
No, I couldn't either.
Maybe today I could do it, but I wouldn't even try.
I have a feeling I could do it today.
I think I could too, but I'd probably end up in a coma trying.
You remember the Mac Davis show? At the end, people would just put out a word or something and he would make up a song from it.
I don't remember that. Must have been after my bedtime.
Do you remember the John Denver show?
Yes.
Do you remember that John Denver and Mac Davis were friends until one's wife left the other for the other one?
Oh, really? Yeah. Drama.
And then John Denver's wife, I'm pretty sure, left him and went with Mac Davis. And I think Mac Davis's wife went with John Denver. I'm not sure. But I remember that. Do you remember the Flip Wilson show?
Yes.
Yeah. With Geraldine? You know what year that was?
No.
71.
Was it 1971?
There were two, space shows. One was My Favorite Martian. But do you remember the one that had the robot? Was that?
Yeah, Lost in Space.
Lost in Space. Cracked up a big bumbling bag of bolts. You remember that?
Yep.
The Sonny and Cher show.
I got you, babe.
Remember Chastity on the piano? V-A-M-P. Vamp. Oh, do you remember John Davidson? The John Davidson show?
No.
My mom would have that on every day, like at 4 o'clock when I'd get home. Do you remember Charlie Pride?
Nope.
Country singer? I just saw on the website today that he died. Sad.
Oh. We used to watch Saturday Night Live. That was our big thing. So we'd get a big bowl of Doritos and a bowl of Vanilla Breyers ice cream with chocolate syrup and sunflower seeds, which will give you the worst gas and the worst breath. But that aside, we would all pile in and watch Rosanna Dana, Bill Murray and Jim Belushi. Oh, my God.
Do you know how many seasons Chevy Chase was on SNL?
I don't know. I'll guess 7.
1.
Really?
He was only on 1 season. Isn't that hard to believe?
That is hard to believe.
Do you know how many seasons Farrah Fawcett was on Charlie's Angels?
Oh, my gosh. I don't even want to guess now.
1.
Really?
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels, $6 Million Man.
Oh, yeah. I used to love that. We can rebuild him.
We can make him stronger, faster.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer debuted on 12/6/1964.
Wow.
Remember the movie The Way We Were?
Yes.
Robert Redford and Barbara Streisand?
Yes.
I have to watch that again now that I'm older.
We should watch it together.
Okay, let's do it.
That would be really fun.
I tried thinking back at things that triggered my memory after I saw that, what I call it, the drinking.
I don't know, that bird.
Yeah, the bird, the drinking bird.
Lucky bird.
It's funny, I went down memory lane with TV shows.
Well, that's what all we did was ride our bikes and watch TV. And then all the commercial jingles. My baloney has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R.
Remember the Norelco shaver that went over the snow? That debuted in the 70s. I was like, what? And I didn't realize Roy Orbison died in 88.
Did he?
Yeah, remember when he was with Tom Petty?
Yes.
One of the singers that really hit home with me, for my son, it was David Bowie, because he was just getting into him. But what hits home for me, Tom Petty. That one hurts for me.
Yes.
What a shame.
All the music back then that was just coming out, the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac, Elton John. Do you remember listening to Casey Kasem?
Yes. Yes.
Every Sunday we would listen and just, they'd have 1,000 commercials on the Billboard charts. The number one song.
And the USA is.
And then do you remember calling the radio station and requesting songs?
Yes.
I called so much, they're like, can you please stop calling? If you're the third caller, you're going to get X. And like you would call, and they didn't have speed dial.
Right.
You learned how to just like do the keypad so fast, and then it'd be beep, beep, and then you'd hang up and then do it again.
What about the rotary phone? Remember when you could call the operator?
Yep.
Remember when you could call the operator and get patched through to Santa?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? What was your go-to show when you got home from school?
Oh.
Like in middle school, high school, or whatever you remember. I remember coming home seeing my mom watching the Watergate.
Oh, yeah, I remember my dad watching that stuff on the news. And I read the books, too. I read all the Watergate books about it. I was so fascinated by it. G. Gordon Liddy and all the drama. It was a little bit too much for me. I was too young to really understand the dynamics, but I loved the drama. I was just so drawn to it.
I just remember seeing her watching the hearings, and I'd just be like, whatever. I didn't know. They didn't share it with us either. Not like we do now with our kids.
Yeah, I remember my dad watching Walter Cronkite, when there was wars. I don't know what war it was, Vietnam War or whatever. And I kept thinking, oh my God, we're at war. I was so terrified. Are we going to get blown up? Like, what does this mean? Why can't we all just get along? I didn't understand it.
I think it was middle school. I'd get home and I'd watch I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, I loved I Dream of Jeannie.
I loved her dark-haired sister.
Yeah, she was so cute. I Dream of Jeannie, Partridge Family, Brady Bunch.
HR Puffin stuff.
HR Puffin stuff. Where you go when things get rough. I love that show.
What was your favorite show that you enjoyed watching when your kids were little?
I loved Arthur.
Me too. That's my all-time favorite cartoon. I love Arthur.
Just such good memories with my kids. I would put them in their high chairs, put them up in front of the TV. I had a little TV in the kitchen. Then I would make fish sticks and French fries in the toaster oven. And I would always make extra and give them to them. And then whatever they didn't eat, as I'm pulling the tray off and the dog's taking stuff off the tray and whatever, I'm dipping their leftovers in the ketchup and just downing it. Arthur really captured them, my kids.
Oh, okay.
I could put them in front of it and they were just calm and they would watch it and eat their dinner. It seemed like such a really cool show.
It nailed everybody. It had the bully. It had the nice kid. It had what I thought was going to be growing to be the lesbian. It had the little spoiled rich girl that the school would do favors for. I mean, and they would put that in there. We'll bring a book by Muffy. Was her name Muffy? The little rich one? Muffy or Buffy? I think it was Muffy. Can't remember now. It's been so long. But anyway, she wanted a book from the library, and they said they'd bring it to her house.
And I'm not going to lie. I loved Barney. I
really?
loved it because we had the VHS tapes. So I would just do all the sing-alongs, like the campfire sing-along. That was my favorite episode. And I'd be in the kitchen doing dishes, just so tired from work, just so done, Could have went to bed at 4:00 in the afternoon for the night. And I'm just sitting there singing, I love you, you love me.
Be family with the great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too?
Yay. I was having my own little childhood. I enjoyed my kids' childhood more than I enjoyed mine. Arthur and Teletubbies. I loved the Teletubbies.
Really?
I loved it. I loved it because it was always a sunny day. And they would go off and do those stories. We're going to stomp in puddles. Yay. And I just thought, this is so cool. Let's go out and stomp in puddles.
Yeah, I wasn't big on Barney or Teletubbies so much.
Really?
The big comfy couch was more my daughter's.
Was it Molly the clown?
Mm-hmm.
She was so creepy to me as a mom. It was scary because there was like crap under the couch that talked and stuff. I don't know. It was a little creepy for me.
I thought the bike courier was creepy. I hated Mr. Rogers when I was a kid. And I loved him when I watched it with the kids. When I was a kid, it was too dark for me. The scenery was too dark in his house. I hated when he went over to that train tracks and that puppet would come out.
The puppets were freaky.
Gross. It looked like someone held a Bic lighter to its nose till it sizzled. I was like, who burnt this puppet's nose? Go get a new one.
What about the electric company?
Remember that? Uh-huh.
No.
Chair. Monitor.
That really helped me understand letters. Never understood the Elemento. Like, I really thought Elemento was a letter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like, how do you write Elemento? Not kidding. That's a true story. I think they broke it down for me on the electric company so that I understood. Oh, and then Bozo the Clown. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I was on that.
Were you really?
I was in the audience in Bozo the Clown, and I was terrified that they would pick me to do something, but I wanted to be picked so bad. You know, that feeling, don't pick me, pick me.
I always loved that ping pong game he would do. He'd line up the red buckets, and you'd have to throw it in 1 through 10. It was pong.
Beer pong.
Yeah. He had all those kids ready for beer pong. I want to know why every cartoon, that name, that inappropriate name, like Mr. McFeely from Mr. Rogers. And then there was BJ.
From what?
From Barney, his little friend BJ.
Oh, right.
There's a lot of them where they have these names, and I'm just like,
I didn't even think of it until you just said it.
Really?
McFeel me is going to be in my head all night.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, that is creepy.
The one that's really sticking with me right now as we're closing out is that ballerina. I wish I could go flick it. Pull her all the way down to the side and let it go for old time's sake.
How does it go again? Let's try to do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I can't do it either. Anyway, this was great. I loved it. Such a good topic.
Okay, well, till next time.
I'll talk to you next week.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Carolyn, Cheryl, thank you. Carolyn, Cheryl, thank you.